We had our 30-year anniversary in August this year, and when I started back in 1994, we had no idea we'd come to as big as we are today, about 180 people. I started because I wanted to run my own business, and in 1994, a combination of circumstances led to me launching what was Unilink Computers at that time as an IBM reseller. And as a former IBMer, it was a relatively gentle way to get into running your own business. I'd always wanted to work in IT ever since leaving Imperial College, where I studied physics. It had seemed a fascinating area to get into, one that was always changing. And while at IBM, I realized that I enjoyed working on the interface between public and private sectors and helping the public sector make effective use of IT. And so here I am working in the interface between the private sector and the justice sector, trying to help the adoption of IT. Things never run smoothly, and I have learnt many, many lessons over the period of this 30 years. And in 2001, we had the dot-com boom and bust, and I had to let some people go. And the first lesson I would say is if you have to cut deep and cut quickly and do it just once. I didn't. I had to do it twice, which was very painful. That was the first of many, many lessons. And one of the biggest for me is to learn to manage, and more importantly, to learn to lead. Leadership is particularly important today in both the public and private sectors, with money short and infrastructure quite weak, and in the UK, full prisons, and a tsunami of technological change coming with AI. You really have to know where you are going. And if I linger on that a moment, AI will affect everything. It will affect you and me in our homes and our work lives, and its impact is yet to be felt, but there is massive change coming. We really, as I say, enjoy working in this interface between the private and public sectors and have done so for the last 30 years. The most significant impact I see on making prisons work better from an administration point of view, which means that any interventions that you have to reduce risk or increase the chance of rehabilitations are more likely to work well. I always felt when I started with the prison sector in 2001 that prisons were the place that the technology had forgotten. IT, of course, not allowed in prisons. In the UK, the Strangeways riots of April 1990 led to the introduction of wing-based telephony. So they got telephones. Meanwhile, the whole world got tech. That's ubiquitous everywhere except in prisons. And where's the impact? The impact is through better offender management, prisoner self-service, messaging, video calls, and we are adding tools to that mixture, such as AIM, which looks at the behavior of prisoners and helps identify those prisoners that are most at risk of self-harm. I mean, in general, though, tech is improving the justice system. It's increasing family contact. It's making visits easier, improving the administration, and it's removing much of the reasons for stress in prisons. I mean, they're stressful enough without poor administration. And at the same time, it's handling responsibility to prisoners, enabling education and the scheduling of purposeful activity. So potentially making prisons much better and much safer to run. I mean, the most important one has been self-service. We knew that putting prisoner self-service into the prisons was improving them, but we couldn't prove it. So we had a proper academic study done by York University to look at prisons before and after we implemented self-service. And they observed it from the perspective of the prisoners and the perspective of staff, and before and after in a prison. And they said that many things came out of these surveys, and one of which was that prisoners and staff really looked forward to the introduction of this technology, which they said was fairly unique, that it was something so much looked forward to. And then they surveyed prisoners before and after and got very positive feedback on the use of the technology, and they then measured the results, looking at prisoner behavior after prison. And as you could imagine, this study took 2 or 3 years from start to finish, but they did actually come out with a statistically significant impact on recidivism due to the impact of prisoner self-service. Now, I don't put that down necessarily directly to the software, but to the impact it has through enabling a prison to be better run, to therefore reducing the stress and allowing the staff to implement initiatives to improve prison life and improve the chances for those prisoners that want to change to be able to do so. And it's definitely a combination of the software and the management of the prisons that achieved that and gave that measurable impact. That's a really good question. The issues of security, privacy, and ethics are always with us in this field. And it's partly that we employ staff. I'm pleased to say they stay with us for many years, and so we build a sort of basic knowledge of the environment, that data is sensitive, it has to be secure, it must be anonymized before you're dealing with it, that there are concerns about all sorts of data, even to the extent of who is messaging whom and who is visiting whom. This is, of course, vital security data, and every system that we have to do has to be security checked. We have to have security cleared staff. Everybody has a level of security clearance. If ISO 9001, ISO 27000, and Cybersecurity Essentials Plus. So we have put in place the means to be secure and to deliver security, privacy, and an awareness of the ethical principles of the business. And it's just fundamental to the organization now. And as a result, we don't work in other sectors. We work in this sector because we understand the security requirements and needs of controlling data. And when it comes to AI, this is going to be even more of an issue. And it's why we're spending time understanding AI architectures and building systems where AI doesn't cause us future issues. honestly, I am blown away by the opportunities AI brings to the justice sector. We've been working on AI for the past 2 years and building an understanding of the legislation that's coming in the EU and the UK, and we've had legal advice on that, while at the same time working with some of the organizations developing AI products to work out how best to apply them within justice. And honestly, I think the opportunities are fantastic for things that we can do and we can deliver. I mean, let's take a very simple example. We can translate FAQs on our self-service system on the fly into any of 50 or 60 languages. I mean, and if you want to, we can have the AI speak those to people. And we can do that without any security concerns. I'm picking that one out as a simple example, but the more complex ones are obviously going to be looking at behavior of people within the justice system, working out their risk, working out their risk of harm, working out the risk of reoffending, looking at good behavior and seeing if we can use good behavior for early release and so on. And, you know, there's never been an opportunity like this for taking the data, and many departments of corrections have masses of data. And we can now apply AI tools and use that data to deliver real value to departments of corrections to work more effectively. And it's, I feel fantastically optimistic about it. Obviously, we've got to harness AI properly so it's limited and it doesn't show problems of bias or hallucination. We've got to handle those issues, but we can handle those issues and we can make it work. And I'm sure we can deliver fantastic value in future.